Good morning, students. We are on our second life process, that is respiration. Yesterday we have discussed meaning of respiration and then its types. As we know, the respiration is of two types, that is aerobic and anaerobic. In human beings, as we know, the respiratory system in human beings, it is comprises of the organs, and these organs are the nostril or the nasal passage in nose, then trachea or windpipe, then bronchi and lungs. So now we are doing the respiratory system in human beings. The mechanism of respiration in human beings. As we know, in human beings, air is taken into body through the nostril. The air passing through the nostril is filtered by fine hair present in the passage. As you know, in human nostril, hair are present. Beside that, the mucus is also secreted by the mucus glands that are present in the nostril. The passage that is there for the for the air is also lined with mucus. The mucus and the hair present inside the nose trap dirt, dust particles and disease causing germs and prevent them from entering the respiratory system. Now, from the nose or nasal cavity, the air passes through the pharynx or throat cavity. When this is the diagram, this is the area that is where nose is present. Then here pharynx is present, and then this is the structure that is responsible for entering the air up to the lungs. This is the lungs. Now, from the nose or nostril passage, the air enters into the pharynx or through the pharynx or throat cavity to the windpipe. This is the windpipe. Then the trachea branches into two smaller tubes called bronchi. This is the trachea, and here rings of cartilage are present, and these are the bronchi. The trachea branches into two smaller tubes called the bronchi. Each bronchus enters into a lungs. Here we are seeing this is the bronchus or bronchi that enters into the lungs. In the lungs, each bronchus branches out into smaller tubes called bronchioles. When we see this trachea, this is the trachea, part of trachea. Here it divides like that, and it's the part which divide again, and this is called as the bronchioles. Now, in the lungs, each bronchus branches out into the smaller tubes called bronchioles. These bronchioles finally terminate into balloon-like structure. Here, and these balloon-like structures are present. These are the balloon-like structures. These are called as the alveoli or alveolar sacs. The walls of alveoli provide a surface where the exchange of gases can take place. The air we breathe in eventually reaches these air sacs or alveoli. These sacs are surrounded by blood vessels. Here blood vessels are present where exchange of gases when air is given and carbon dioxide is returned to the through the blood vessel to the bronchioles or alveoli. The oxygen present in the air we breathe in goes into the blood contained in the blood vessels. The carbon dioxide present in the blood passes out of the blood into the air sacs or the alveoli. Thus, exchange of gases takes place in the lungs. Now, the blood uh, that is that takes the oxygen from the alveoli now uh, is sent to or reach to all the cells of the body where it is used to get energy from food. The carbon dioxide that is released by the cell goes back into the blood and released into the air sacs of the lungs or alveoli of the lungs. It is then breathed out by us in the process of exhalation. This is the process of exhalation. Now, how air enters the lungs? When we breathe in the air like that, the ribs lift up, then the diaphragm flattens and chest cavity becomes larger. At that time the air from the atmosphere enters the lungs and they expand. In the similar way, when we blow the air through the balloon, they that inflate. Now, air mean the balloon expand. While when we breathe out, ribs relax, the diaphragm contracts, decreasing the space in the chest cavity, and the air moves out. In this way, the air goes in and out of the lungs. So, this is the way through which air enters in the lungs and given out through the lungs. The lungs always contain a residual volume of air so that there is sufficient time for oxygen to be absorbed and for the carbon dioxide to be released. Lungs have some of the residual air. If we stop taking breath for some of the seconds, that oxygen can be used at that time. Now, transport of oxygen. The respiratory pigment present in the blood, that is the hemoglobin. The respiratory pigment present in the blood take up oxygen from the air in the lungs and they carry this oxygen to the tissue which are deficient in oxygen before releasing it. In human beings, the respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin, present in the red blood corpuscles and it carry oxygen to different tissues of the body. Now, in the similar way, how carbon dioxide is transported through the tissue through one cell to other cell. Carbon dioxide is, as we know, carbon dioxide is more soluble in water, and hence it is mostly transported from body tissues in the dissolved form in our blood plasma to lungs, where it diffuses from blood to air in the lungs. So, this is the way by which the air enter in the our cells and how in the similar way how it is removed. Now, exchange of gases in plants. Since the aerobic respiration pathways requires presence of oxygen, aerobic organism must have a mechanism to ensure a continuous supply of oxygen. Earlier, we have seen that the photosynthetic processes in green plants needs carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. This exchange of gases occurs through stomata. Similarly, the respiratory gaseous exchange, mean intake of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide, also occurs through stomata. As during daytime, the oxygen that is released by the plants during the process of respiration is used in the process of photosynthesis. At night, when there is no photosynthesis, utilization of O2 and elimination of CO2 occurs through stomata. In fact, the plants release CO2 during night when there is no photosynthesis, and releases O2 during daytime when photosynthesis consumes CO2. In plants, there is no special means for transport of gases. The gases move entirely by the process of diffusion. The large and interconnected intercellular spaces in plants ensures that all the cells are in contact with air. Since the plants remain fixed in nature, they do not require excess energy, and hence the rate of respiration is also comparatively slow. So this is the way through which exchange of gases takes place in plants. But in case of aquatic organism, the exchange of gases take place um, through the water, through the oxygen that is dissolved in water. So they have therefore special organs to absorb dissolved form of oxygen. The aquatic animals take the dissolved form of oxygen either entirely directly through their skin by simple diffusion, or through gills, which are specially designed for this purpose. Since the amount of oxygen dissolved in water is low in comparison to the atmosphere, so the aquatic animals must breathe faster to get sufficient oxygen. Fishes, for example, take in water through their mouth and force it past the gills. And the large surface area of gills is lined with blood capillaries, where the dissolved oxygen is taken up by the blood and CO2 is released into the external water. So this is all about the respiratory system in case of human beings, and then plants and aquatic animals also. So this is now today we have completed the second life process, that is respiration. Now I will give some of the questions. You have to try these questions, and you have to send the answers on my WhatsApp number. That's all for today.